Hello, happy Thursday, guys. Welcome to Make It Alexandria with Alyssa Kovach of Alexandria Makers Market. Tonight, Alyssa welcomes Nancy Ramsey of Nancy Ramsey Art. She designs gorgeous and unique canvases, some of which you can see at Hotel Indigo, some of which you're going to see tonight. You can also find her on Instagram at NARamseyArt, and soon you'll be able to find her online at her new website. So get ready for an evening of art, and let's welcome Alyssa.
Hi, thank you so much, Grace. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Make It Alexandria. I own Alexandria Makers Market, and this is my chance to showcase all the amazing makers that are found right here in our city. And Nancy is definitely one of the top artists. Her work is so amazing, so relatable. And I have taken some of her classes and we have worked together on events. So I just know that she's the best. So Nancy, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for everything you've been doing to support Makers in Alexandria, especially in this last year. We really needed it.
It's been a crazy year, but and hopefully, I know things are kind of questionable at the moment, but hopefully everything's moving in the positive direction. So, Nancy, I just wanted to kind of give an overview to those folks that are watching. Would you just give us a little intro about yourself?
Sure. So I live in Alexandria, and I've been taking art classes here at the Art League, which a lot of you probably have too. Probably for the last 30 years, I think. I've just always taken classes, and I love them because they give you new ideas and new insights that you just wouldn't come to sitting home alone making things by yourself. So I did that the whole time I was teaching school in Fairfax County, and I taught there for 23 years. And I always took art classes on the side, and I might enter an art show here or there, but mostly I just piled art up in my basement. And I didn't have the energy to do anything with it. Because you're exhausted when you teach all day long. So a few years ago, I took a sabbatical from teaching for the year, and I really started doing more with my art. And when that year was up, I said, I can't go back. I got to keep doing this. So since then, it's been about 5 years now that I've really just been concentrating on my art, making it, taking classes, finding places to show it, teaching classes myself, getting a studio, and just figuring out the whole art world and how that works. And you mentioned how many makers there are in the Alexandria area. It's unbelievable to me how many people there are in the Alexandria and the greater DC area. So many different groups and so many different types of art and galleries, and it's amazing. I never even knew that at all. You know, I knew of a couple of places. And now I'm like, there's all these things I've been missing for the last 30 years. So it's very about all of our opportunities.
Well, and I love, I think in this area particularly, that everybody is very supportive of one another and encouraging of one another, regardless of what your medium or your kind of specialty is. So there's always a place for another creative here in the city. But I want to kind of go back further, to the start of your teaching career, to the start of your kind of your artwork. What were some of the things that really inspired you back at that time that you were really excited about?
Art-wise?
Sure.
Yeah. Back when I started teaching, I had just started taking some classes at the Art League, and I did a lot of figure drawing at that point. I did a lot of gesture drawing classes, and that's where you go in, you have a live model, and you do really quick drawings. Like some of them might be 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minute, and the long ones were maybe 20 minutes of looking at the model. I used to call it my art therapy because you have to draw so fast that you don't have time to stress about, like, is the finger really looking like a finger? You just scribble for a half an hour, and then sometimes it actually looks like a person. So it was really cool. And I did that for years, and I loved it. That's still figure drawing is probably still my favorite thing to do. I do it in a very abstract way. And then over the years, I just bridged into turning them more into paintings, and now I'm doing paintings of landscapes or completely abstract, non-objective paintings, painting to music, just a lot of different things. So it's sort of expanded from the figure drawing, I would say.
And you primarily do work with paint. Is this watercolor, acrylic? What's kind of your favorite medium?
I mostly work with acrylic and oil at this point. I do a lot of mixed media, I would say. I like to, kind of use whatever it takes to make a painting look good. I started off doing watercolor. I think a lot of people start with watercolor because, you know what it is. You did it in school. It's not quite as scary or different, except for that it's really hard. Watercolor painting is so
Yeah.
hard. Should really respect watercolor artists. You have to get it right the first time. There's not a lot of messing with it, So I did that for years, and then I started doing the acrylic. And because I had done a lot of figure drawing, even with the acrylic, I do a lot of drawing within it. You can mix a lot of things with that paint, a lot of drawing materials and things like that. Occasionally I'll do something like collage where you can like glue fabric in or paper or other things. And then I got into oil painting, which I really love too. I still do more of the acrylic just because it's easier material wise. Acrylic you can just pull out and use. Oil you have to sort of do some layers, let it dry a little bit, do some more. You have to be a little more patient. If you're not patient, acrylic's great.
That speaks to me definitely more than the watercolor. So I completely
there are
understand
people
that.
that can use oil in that way too. Maybe I'm not good enough at it yet to do that.
So then you took your sabbatical, really switched gears from teaching to focusing on your own creations. And at what point did the Torpedo Factory kind of enter your scene?
Well, I'd always taken classes over there in the building because the art was centered there as well as other places around town. And so I knew of it. It was always on my radar since I was a little kid, But I guess I applied to join the Torpedo Factory Artists Association in, I think, 2018 the first time and didn't get in. And then I applied again in 2019, I think is the year that I actually got in. And so then I got a studio that year and have a studio there still. We switched studios recently. We're now in 341 upstairs. Great view. Really nice studio with all the windows, which I think we'll see when we pull up a video in a little bit. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, and then with the Torpedo Factory Artists Association, not only can I show there, but I have my studio, but they have a gallery in the Torpedo Factory. And they have another gallery that's in the Mosaic District, Torpedo Factory Artists Association at Mosaic. So that gives me another space to show. So, each one of these things that you do opens up lots of different opportunities too. It's really cool to see, just everything you can do and everywhere you can show.
Oh no, I really love that, and I love that that the Torpedo Factory is kind of even expanded up more than just our waterfront. I think that's so fun because I have a lot of respect for what they do and all the people that are a part of that. And as we're talking, Grace, if you don't mind queuing up the video that she mentioned, and we can kind of see a little bit behind the scenes. I love watching Nancy work and showing off kind of her studio space because it is, well, I think I've seen your old gallery space. I have not been to the Torpedo Factory since you've moved. So I'll have to check that out.
I don't know, Grace, find that video. I'm not sure if I labeled that one well, Grace. I'm sorry. But it's just a video of me kind of going zoom around the room. So this one is not me working in the studio, which would be something I should probably get a video of one day. That would be
yeah, we have a few videos. I will pull one up and you can let it play and tell me if I'm right.
Perfect.
We'll just talk about whatever one comes up.
Perfect.
That works. We don't have a specific order. Art's not a linear thing, so that's okay.
That's right. So what are we looking at? This is it?
This is one of my pieces called London Layers, and this is in the Van Landingham Gallery at the Torpedo Factory, which is the Torpedo Factory Artists Association Gallery. So it's where the artists as a group can show, and we have different group shows there. And that is a piece that was up in one of the shows. I currently I was in a show at New District Brewing in Arlington, and some of these pieces were in that, but they've actually sold. And I was going to tell you all that I'm going to be there painting on September 24th. August 24th. And my work there has sold, but you can still come and see me paint live there. So these pieces move from place to place. Like they might be in a show at the Torpedo factory 1 month, then the next month they go in a show in Arlington, then they might go to one in the Del Rey Gallery. I mean, you just kind of move them around different places so different people can see them. So that's one that's done a little moving around. I had one of those was at the Mosaic Gallery to begin with, and that one sold there. So that's the only one that's left out of that. Those were kind of neat pieces that I did some of my figure drawing on things like acetate and transparent and translucent surfaces. And then I was layering them up so you could sort of see one behind the other, and they could cast shadows on them. And it's something I've just started to play with the last maybe year or two. And I just bought a few more supplies for it. So more of those to come.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, because it's different, and it's fun to like move the layers around and go, oh, what if that one's in the front? What if this figure's in the back?
No, that's a very, very fun idea. I love that. I am going to switch topics just a little bit. You mentioned Del Rey, and that pinged a memory that I have actually taken one of your classes. My brother and I came and took Music as Muse, which was such a fun class. And I can't adequately describe to everybody that's watching how nicely you walked us through start to finish. I will put this out there for the whole world. I'm creative. I'm not artistic. And I was very anxious to take this class. Like not anxious in like I'm excited, like anxious like, oh, this is gonna really cause me to sweat. because I'm not typically an artistic person. And I thought, you know what? I really respect Nancy, and I think that she's going to be great. And if anybody can walk me through this, it's going to be you. And I was so right about that. I wish I'm not at my home currently. I wish I could show off what I made. It's hanging on my wall. But talk to me about, a class like Music as Muse. I'm sure you have other topics that you teach, and really where you get some of the inspiration there to help hopeless people like me.
I can really appreciate what you're saying about the art, because I feel that way about music. Like, I like music, but don't ask me to sing. I'll only sing for first graders. And it's because I haven't had any training in singing, And I really do think that anybody can make art. There may be a few gifted people that are better than the rest of us. But basically, if all of us take classes and practice, we will do work that's decent enough to hang on our walls. I had a teacher one time who said, people kept going, why can't we do it like you? Why doesn't mine look good? And he said, paint 1,000 paintings. Don't talk to me till you painted 1,000 paintings. Because that's, it's all about practice. If you painted 1,000 paintings, you'd be like, oh, wait, I actually can do something. It's whether or not you want to take time to paint 1,000. You may not like it enough to bother to do that. So I really do think that anybody can make art. And I think the Music as Muse class was so perfect for that, because really it's something I started doing with my kindergartners and first graders a million years ago. And if you just play music and you kind of paint to it, you're scribbling, right? And it comes naturally to them. They don't mind it a bit. And adults, once you get over, they're like, really, we're going to scribble. You have permission. Then they kind of loosen up and they're like, okay, I can do this. Like, the music kind of tells you when your hand should go up or down or fast or slow, right? So I think the music kind of is the perfect way in for somebody that's nervous about it. The other thing is the piece that you end up painting is completely non-objective, completely abstract. You're not trying to make it look like a pear or a face.
Yes.
So it's always right. You're not going to look at it and be like, I didn't quite get it right. It's not so, it doesn't matter. So I love that class. It's the perfect way in.
It was really, really fun. For those who aren't familiar, there was 4 panels, and she played a different type of music for each one and gave some variant instructions for each one. And so I can remember this was this type of music. This was, this was a slower song. This was a more upbeat song. And you can actually see that in the paintings, which that's, I think, what I thought, okay, somehow I was able to express that. Or maybe I just know because I was the one that did it. I'm not sure. But
That's
that's
cool
what
that
I,
you can tell, though. That's really neat. I heard that you tell, look at it.
yeah, no,
I
that's,
had
I'm proud of,
I had us do 4 because
I,
I like to more than one thing at a time.
yeah, no, and especially because at the end, then you can compare and contrast and kind of maybe even pick a favorite. I don't know, but there was, I thought it was just a really, really nice setup, and it was for anybody who's maybe a little nervous to try. It was a very easy dip the toe in the water kind of situation, and so that was at the Del Rey Artisans, I believe.
Right. Yeah, and
Yes.
Del Rey Artist has a ton of classes every month. They go a lot of times with their different show themes. Definitely the kind of thing where anybody can drop in and take a class. A lot of people there are experienced artists that are entering the shows, and a lot of people there are, brand new, live in the neighborhood, and just want to try something different. So it's a very welcoming place. I'm going to do something with Sonoma Cellar in
Oh,
September. I have an art show up there currently, and we'll probably see a video on that if we can get it going in a few minutes. But um, Elizabeth, the owner, and I were talking about doing some kind of event there. She usually likes to do the fourth Monday as art night. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's painting, various things. They always have a painting show hanging up there. And now it's mine. So we're hoping that COVID will allow us to do something there that fourth Monday in September. We haven't really worked out the details yet. It might be a demo where I paint, or we might do a class where we invite people to come in and paint. We've also done classes where we paint on Zoom, and Elizabeth does like a wine talk, and everybody goes there and picks up their
wow.
little jars of wine, and then I do an art talk, and we all paint together and drink our wine. So, you know, who knows what we'll be doing by the end of September, but we're going to work something out for you guys. So make sure to follow me on Instagram so you'll see what's going on, and follow Sonoma Cellar on Instagram, and they'll post too, and we'll keep you guys up to date once we work out the details. But something fun is coming.
That's, I love that collaboration, and of course, I mean, nothing pairs better with wine than with art than a glass of wine. So no, I think that's a really, really fun collaboration. And I know you've mentioned Mosaic and some other places, but um, talk to me then. Who else are you collaborating with around town?
Let's see, who else am I collaborating with at the moment? I've got some art up at Wine Gallery 108, which is in Old Town. And Lisa, the owner, is also an artist. So she has different artists as well as her own work in her shop. It's a great wine shop that you guys should definitely check out. I have some art up there. We have a video of that, which is a terrible video. I'm sorry. I hope we'll see that maybe in a few minutes too. But it's a very cute shop, and we may do something. But in the past, we've done some things for Alexandria's Cocktail Week. Lisa made wine-based cocktails, and I came and painted little cocktail paintings, and people could come up and order and say, oh, can you paint me a gin and tonic? Okay, sure. So it was like a paint to order kind of thing. I'm hoping we can do something like that again soon. If the next cocktail week we're all out and about again, we'll see.
Yeah,
But meanwhile,
yeah.
great to stop by and check out art and wine again. Perfect combo, right?
Grace, if you don't mind, I was just going to ask for you to pull up some of those videos.
So this is the Sonoma Cellar show, and this is their main dining room. Please excuse my video skills there. I hope I don't make you guys seasick. I think I slowed down in a minute. So Sonoma Cellar always will have an artist in their main dining room, and then also there will be art in other places in the building, but this is the room where you can see the most. They have a great outdoor patio. If you're outdoors, you can just say, can I run upstairs and check out the art show? And they're more than happy for you to do that. So although I recommend their beautiful outdoor patio at this time, definitely go upstairs and check out the art there. A lot of the work that I have in this show is tied to the watershed. These that we're looking at right now are historical Alexandria map based, but then I've turned them into abstract paintings. And I've done a lot of work with the Chesapeake Bay watershed, kind of looking at aerial maps. And then native plants in the area and combining all those images together into a painting. This is one based on the Chesapeake Bay. And you might be able to see where that's based on an aerial map. These are some that I did during COVID when we were locked down at home and we couldn't travel. I did my virtual travel series. So I spent a lot of time thinking about where would I like to go. These are various islands around the world and places that I would have gone if I could jump on a plane and fly somewhere. So I spent some time looking at photos, looking at maps, researching places like what hotel could we stay in if we went here, or where would we eat dinner? And then I kept little sketchbooks and just did some drawings of the places and then turned those into paintings. And this is the video of my studio. So right here, we're kind of walking into the studio down the hallway in the Torpedo factory. And we'll see a couple of pieces of art here. Those are on the hallway outside. And I share my studio with Leslie Clark and Beard Estabrook. So there's 3 of us in here. We have a nice big studio. And so as we go around here, you're seeing work from all 3 of us. I won't try to tell you which is which as we go through this fast, but please come down and check it out and you can see us. I'll be in there tomorrow. Our schedule with COVID has been a little up in the air. We're in and out. And so if you want to come, I would suggest contacting me ahead of time. You can message me on Instagram or email or, whatever you want to do. And just make sure that somebody's going to be in. I live close by, so I'm happy to run down anytime. Just not necessarily in there all the time. So we have a great big workspace and some nice windows. And that's Beard's work right there with the animals. And then that final wall is mine right there. Those are mostly figure-based, so you can see that my figures get pretty abstract. But if you're there looking up close, you can go, oh, now I see, there's a face, oh, there's an elbow. And you'll start to see that there's figures in there.
I think what I really enjoy about your work is that you can see where you started, the topic, the theme, or what the inspiration was. But what I think I've used this word accessible, what I think makes it relatable is that if I were to put that on my wall, you wouldn't necessarily, if you didn't know the backstory, it wouldn't say Chesapeake Bay or map of Alexandria, but it gives this very subtle undertone that I just really, really appreciate.
Yeah, I think I kind of like that you can look and see your own thing too. Like people like to hear the story behind it and they want to know what I was looking at. But I also think it's cool when you guys look at it and see what you see, because I don't need you to see what I saw. Like that doesn't confirm me or anything. I have a friend that was like, oh, I really like the one with the leopard in it. And I was like, I've never painted a leopard. I don't know what you're talking about. And when he showed me, it was a lady doing yoga.
Oh, hilarious. Oh my gosh.
And then I have a bunch of work up at my friend's Mount Vernon Physical Therapy. They own it and they let me decorate the walls there. So I have art up there and I'll change it from time to time. And I know one of the therapists there said, I really love this painting that's right by my table. And when you first hung it up, I was like, that's kind of weird abstract art. But the more I look at it, the more I like it. And she's like, every day I see different things in it, which to me, I think that's kind of cool, As artists, when we're talking about art to each other, like a high compliment that somebody can give you is, I could really look at that for a long time.
I can understand that. I really can. And there is a lot of complexity. And only because I've watched you kind of do kind of a start to maybe a rough finish, maybe not a, polished, perfect piece, but I've seen kind of where you've started and how it's ended up and thought, okay, that it went in a direction I never expected, but I can still see really the inspiration that began the piece. So, and I'm kind of, excuse me being nosy, but I'm looking over your shoulder and there are some bright pieces kind of to both sides of you. And I just wondered if maybe you would give us a little info on those.
Yeah. Oh, good. I was going to say, can I turn my iPad? I don't have to. So that, look at me trying to point. Where am I pointing? The one over this That is actually for my friend's 50th birthday. Her family said, "What do you want for your 50th birthday present?" And she said, "I want you to commission a painting for Nancy to make for me." And so they all got together, and that's their gift to her. So it's in the
Wow.
process of curing and finishing, and still needs to be shined up. But so that's her present. And then these, yes, I'm pointing the right place. These are some works in progress that I started during the pandemic. I teach an art class, an individual art class to an artist in the area, and we meet once a week on Zoom. We used to meet in person, but during the pandemic, it's been on Zoom. And these are some pieces that I started working on with her, just kind of doing some demos for her, and then she would paint for a while, and I add to them and add to them. And I've kind of been looking at them next to some that I had up that were based on the watershed again. And I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see how I might tie that in. So I don't know how well you can see these. These are the little ones that I had hanging next to it, and you can
Oh,
see more of the blue, green land and water, right? Sorry, so you see it on the TV. So
no.
those were hanging next to these striped ones, and I'm slowly over time seeing how like I'm gonna make these into my kind of art. But it
Yeah.
takes a long time. Like some of these you throw together in a couple of days, and then other ones it's a couple of years. I mean, it's just weird how long they take sometimes. And sometimes like you paint really hard on them for a week and then they sit for months. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, they need white. That's the problem, you know? Comes
Well,
when it comes.
I'm sure you are asked this. I'm sure most artists are asked this at some point. But how do you know when you have come to the end of one of your pieces?
I don't know. That is like one of those age old questions. You're right. Everybody gets asked that all the time. I have a friend that says, when you buy it, I'll stop painting on it. If it's on the wall, I'm still going to paint on it. I think sometimes, like, I know that a piece is done because I'm like, I like it. I just like it how it is. Other times, it's kind of done because I'm done with it. You know, like, there's nothing more I can do to this. It's just done. And then, sometimes you just kind of keep it there. I have a teacher that said, leave it on your wall and peek at it out of the corner of your eye every once in a while. Don't sit there and study it because you'll drive yourself crazy, but just peek at it and be like, orange, that's what I need. Yeah, totally random.
Well, I really, really enjoy your art. I think you also use a lot of blues and it's sometimes a little moody. And so I think I enjoy that as well. That's kind of my color palette that I enjoy. So your work is just beautiful. And so I can't wait to see how that continues, how the pandemic continues to shape it, and just, you know, because right, that's kind of influencing everybody. But I don't know. I'm really excited just to kind of watch as the path continues. So,
Thank you.
Nancy, tell me, you are all over town. You're all over the DMV area. But what are the best ways? You mentioned commission pieces and things like that. What are the best ways for people to get a hold of you if they are interested in maybe a work that they've already seen or something new?
I think the easiest way to get a hold of me is on Instagram. That's what most artists are updating, kind of not every day, but more regularly. Whereas a website, you sit down and do once in a while. So I would say Instagram for that. My Instagram stuff is posted to Facebook, so you can see things there. But if you want to reach me, I would message me on Instagram. My email's also on there. You can email me. It's nancyAramsey@gmail. But that's on Instagram too, so you can find it. If you want to come out in the real world, you can come find me at the Studio 341 at the Torpedo Factory. My artwork is up at Sonoma Cellar right now. I think it's going to be up there until November. Also at Hotel Indigo right around the corner, and at Wine Gallery 108. And let's see. Oh, and I will be painting at New District Brewing in August, September, the last Wednesday of those months. So again, if you look on Instagram, I'll be posting things like, come see me, come see me. I think that
Well,
The good summary of where I am for the moment.
That's quite a lot, so I can tell that it's probably difficult to keep track. But
It
Nancy, I'm really, really thankful. Um, First of all, for the art, only because it does speak to me. I think it's very relatable to everybody, but also just from a student to teacher experience that I had, it was just so fun to kind of walk through the process with you, and I really, really am excited to do that again at some point in the future. And so, yeah. I am so thankful that you joined us here tonight. It's already 7:30, so I am going to part ways. But everybody, I want you to go and follow Nancy and go check her out when you're ready to do it in person. She's at the Torpedo Factory, but she has a lot of cool. She does a great job on Instagram, and I really appreciate these kind of behind the scene tours that you provided for us this evening as well. So wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much, Nancy, for joining us.
Thank you.
You guys, I'm going to just borrow one more moment and promo an event that we have coming up. It will be at Port City in September. And of course, we're keeping an eye on the local COVID situation and making sure that we are going to bring you a very pandemic friendly event. And so we will take over their parking lot. We'll have about 25 Alexandria-based makers. We're very excited for you to join us with some of the best beer around ever, period, and a little shopping with some local makers. So mark your calendars for the end of September, and I hope you'll come see us for that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us here this evening. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for supporting local. Always make it Alexandria and go be the good news in someone's life.